Before we get started with this video, I just want to say thanks to a couple of people. Doreen, for the medical translation book that you're going to send me. I've not received it yet, but it will be coming, so thanks so much for that. That's so generous of you. And also to the YouTube channel, 2 Bods, 1 Van. Go have a look at them. They very kindly pointed out to us the dangers of Motril, and you can see more about Motril in the previous video. I'll put a link to it up there. And wow, I'm glad you pointed that out. I know there was 1 or 2 other people said the same sort of thing, but I think you were the first, so thanks very much for that. I did Google it when I was able to, and found out a lot about it, including the campaign on Facebook that is aiming to get Motril or Metronidazole banned in Spain completely. Anyway, let's get on with today's video. It's Tuesday morning, the 25th of February, and I have an appointment at the hospital for my surgical consultation to see if I need an operation to remove my gallbladder, or whether continuing with a diet of fat-free food and avoiding any fried food is going to work for me. Now, they have said that I'll most likely need to have my gallbladder removed, and they were really waiting for all the infection to subside and for me to be well enough to have that operation. So I'm really sort of in 2 minds. You know, I'm almost hoping they'll say you don't need the operation, be careful with the food and continue to have a normal life, rather than, right, okay, well, we'll get you in next week and we'll just keyhole in and we'll take the gallbladder out. It's a little bit unlike the appendix, which is seriously unnecessary to have in your body, and I've had that taken out 40 years ago, well, 35 years ago anyway. So but the gallbladder does perform a reasonable function, although it just helps you to digest fatty foods. So if I'm avoiding those, maybe it's going to become inactive a bit more, and maybe repair itself. I don't know. I've heard stories about people in the past being diagnosed with gallstones and inflamed gallbladder, and then completely changing their diet and not having the operation to remove it. Yeah, my true belief is if you can avoid invasive surgery, then you should. You know, because there's always a danger and a risk with all that. In fact, you know, when I was in hospital for my appendix operation, I had peritonitis, which is a burst appendix, so it's quite a serious thing. Got a scar about that long in my stomach, and another indentation in that scar, where I had to go in again because they let me out after a week. I think it was a week or 2 weeks, and then a week after that, when they said, look, just take it easy, I had to go back in because I'd formed an abscess on that scar. So invasive surgery is a bit dangerous, but if they say I've got to have it, I've got to have it. Well, we're back from the hospital, and well, I have mixed feelings, because he looked at all the results of all the tests that he'd got on his screen. He asked me to lay down on his examination table, which I did, and it really prodded hard around my rib cage and where the original infection was. And bearing in mind, I'm still taking the antibiotics, and I'm still on the haptobiliary protection diet, which I think I will remain on forever. So that's, you know, like steamed or boiled vegetables with no fat meat, like chicken with skin off, lean beef, that sort of thing. And he was like, you know, he said, well, how are you, you know, in Spanish. So I was having to communicate in Spanish using Google Translate a bit and my own knowledge. So I said, well, I'm well, you know, I feel fine, much better, a bit weak. His view was that having, well, looking at all the information he had in front of him, he didn't think that an operation to remove the gallbladder was necessary right now. And I think maybe that was because of a couple of things. I'm well. Invasive surgery is never a good thing. I don't live here, so that was a bit of an issue in his mind, I think. Although, you know, we are covered under the health insurance thing, and so he said, well, you know, you're fine, effectively, and I think if there's any other recurrence, then they'll have all my notes there, and I can go back, and I think that'll be it. So I think what the future holds for me, I'm still quite nervous about the whole situation, but I do feel better every day, and I felt more normal today than I've felt for a long time, and it's, you know, today I feel quite well. So I'm sticking to that really very low fat diet. I'm now doing a lot more research on the haptobiliary protection type diets, which a lot of people call them healthful rather than unhealthful. So the healthful diets, food plans are more around plenty of fresh fruit, vegetables, fruit juices, no fat, and just, you know, stay away from a lot of carbohydrates as well. So don't have baked potato, for example. You'd think that would be okay because, like, low fat, no fat, but apparently the high carb is quite bad for you to digest as well. So I'm going to have a very much more nutritional and balanced diet, because, you know, going back onto the old way of eating will put me right back to where I was before, and always feeling a bit sluggish and you know, not feeling very well at all. So I'm feeling pretty good at the moment, so that's a really nice thing. And I've just had back from the hospital, taken my amoxicillin tablet. I'm not taking any painkillers at the moment, so I've been sort of on painkillers for a couple of weeks, and I decided, well, I'm not really in pain, so I've sort of stopped the painkillers, although I do still have those. So amoxicillin, I've still got another 3 days. So where are we today? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I've got until Friday to keep on taking those, and I'm sticking to that really more lighter meals, and the food portions are very very small in comparison. So I've had for lunch I've had a small piece of meat, about that big by about that thick. So that was some sort of fryer steaks, but I microwaved it, so there's no fat involved in that. A lot of the juices came out. I tipped those away, and a big portion of green beans as well, and that was and a bread roll, a sort of whole grain bread roll. And for the pudding, which they recommend, I'm having one of these. You might recognise that. It's an apple manzana. So I'll have that in a moment when I finish filming. And then I've got here a cup of manzanilla, which is the chamomile tea, a very weak chamomile tea that apparently helps with the digestive system, which is the haptobiliary system. That's the liver, the bile duct and the gallbladder, and helps all your digestive sort of stuff go along. All these little things that you do in your diet just help all that. So I'm worried, because it was not a pleasant experience, I've got to say, but I'm optimistic. I'm sort of glad that I don't have to have surgery right now, and you know, given another few days or a week, I think I'll feel back to full strength, and we'll be making our way to Sweden. So you know, that'll be another adventure for us. But anyway, so that's it for the sort of hospital updates so far. I think I might just check back with them just to make sure that I really don't need that operation. It's going to be okay. I've heard stories of people in the past, like Rosemary Connolly, apparently back in the 70s or so, had I'm getting a phone call, so I'll just stop that for a moment. And she apparently didn't have an operation and went onto a good diet. So hopefully I can do the same. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching. Hope it's been useful, all this information about the hospital, the EHIC and the diets. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye for now.